Morning and welcome to yoga. So last week we talked about bones and how bad news is after the age of 30, they start to lose some of their mass and muscles also start to decline. But the good news is, and I don't know how many of you remember Earl Mindel. The guy could be dead by now, but he certainly did a lot of work. Studies show that people even into their 80s and 90s can rebuild muscle and bone, which we talked about last week. So I just want to remind you that, the fact that you guys are here practicing yoga is probably, in my humble opinion, the best thing you could be doing for your physical bodies. So today we are going to focus on muscles. Obviously, they are the thing that move the body. There's 600 of them in your body. They represent about 40% of your body weight, and they are responsible for all movement. They help to prevent injuries because the stronger our muscles are, the less we are prone to injury. And when we practice slowly, we get blood flow into the muscles so that they get what they need to do what they need to do. And also too, I like us to practice in a safe way. I know one too many people, and it even happened to me in a class where they want you to move really quickly or hold things beyond what feels appropriate. That's why I always say, please listen to your bodies, practice with awareness, respect, and compassion. No matter what I ask you to do or anyone else, if your body says no, it's no. That's it, that's all. And of course, it's always very, very important to warm up the body. So let's get started on our backs. And then I'll talk to you about a few things while we're lying down, because we're going to warm up the back first. So draw your knees up towards your chest, one hand on each knee, and take your knees as wide apart as possible. Okay, and just breathe into your bellies for a moment, maybe a little rocking from side to side, just checking in, maybe making circles. Just see how things are feeling. Take your arms out to your side shoulder width and let your left leg drop to the floor, and then let the right leg just come over to meet it when it's ready. And just hang out here. So we're stretching the obliques. Now, 5 major muscle groups include your abdominal muscles, your arms and shoulders. Inhale, lift your left leg up, forget about your right knee up, inhale, forget about the left, it's gonna follow. And then lower that right leg over to the right side, let your left follow. Your glutes, of course, your legs, which include your calf muscles. So as we practice today, we're going to focus on the muscle groups and how we can strengthen them, maintain, as well as build muscles. Inhale, lifting the left knee up, rolling on your sacrum. Let your left knee fall, let the right join. So the big stretch here, you're going to feel this probably if your arms are out at your shoulder height, your pectoralis muscles. These are very important muscles for your shoulders, your chest, arms. So it's interesting. We've got 3 major groups of muscles in the arms, and we'll talk about that when we start to work our arms. Inhale, one more time, lifting the right knee up, rolling on your sacrum. Let that right knee fall and the left join. Now you may notice a difference. I'm noticing that my right pecs are way tighter. In fact, my left pecs are loose, but I'm right-handed. So It makes sense that I was probably working my body, working my right side more than my left. Just notice if one side's tighter than the other. My right obliques are tighter. I don't notice on the left side. Just notice, become aware. And just breathe into it. Knowing our bodies, understanding them, which is what I tried to offer you in these classes, a little bit of anatomy. The muscles attached to your bones through tendons. Inhale, come back to center. Pull your knees in towards your chest. So the small of your back is now pressing into the floor. Breathe. And then reach your hands inside of your legs and take hold of your insteps. And then gently try to bring your ankles directly over your knees with your knees outside of your rib cage. So taking happy baby pose. Stretching those hamstrings. So in yoga, of course, we stretch, strengthen, lengthen, and relax our muscles. When our muscles are tight, what they need more than anything is a bit of relaxation. They're tight because they're contracted. So stretching them releases that tight contraction. That's the normal state of a muscle, to be contracted. So breathe into your hamstrings, try to press your sacrum, your tailbone down towards the floor. Unless you're at your max, then maybe your sacrum's being pulled off the floor. Breathe into them. So last week we talked about holding a pose. Starting at 12 seconds is when we start to build new bone cells. 30 seconds is optimal. After 72 seconds, you've stressed your bone enough. Muscles are similar. There's a beginning, there's an optimal, and there's an end point. All righty. Take your hands underneath the backs of your thighs. And let's roll up to a seated position. And just place your block underneath your buttocks for a second. Remember, you're sitting on the edge of your block. If you can sit cross-legged, great. You can keep your legs straight out in front if it's an issue. And I just want you to check in with your neck right now. So sitting up nice and tall. Last week we talked about being a marionette, imagining you have a string pulling right up through the crown of your head. So inhale in place. Exhale, drop your chin towards your chest, stretching out the back of your neck. And just let the weight of your head stretch things out. And breathe. Inhale, bring your head back up. Exhale, lower, chin to chest. And now begin to make a circle clockwise with your nose. Take it really nice and slow here so you feel the stretch through the side of the neck up to midnight. And as you come back down, you're exhaling, making a big circle with your nose and just checking in with your neck. Try to keep your head on the same plane, meaning don't drop your head back, just make that circle and feel the stretch. Now you're getting a stretch into your traps, your trapezius muscles. When your head is to the side, so you've got traps on both sides, most muscles, there's one on each side. And when it comes to your back muscles, one more in this direction, and then we're going to change the direction. Inhaling to the top. Exhaling as you journey down. And once at the bottom, inhale and reverse slowly feeling the muscles. So when it comes to your back, and of course your neck is an extension of your back, your trapezius muscles, which attach to the back of your skull, and they are broad. They go right over your shoulders and attaching to your upper spine. So you're doing this on your own time, rotating, inhaling to go up. Underneath the trapezius muscles are your rhomboids. These puppies get really tight. And to that end, when we have massages, we typically work on that area. So they're under your traps. And then the large, large muscles on the middle to lower and basically covering your entire back. You're making your last rotation here, are your lats, your latissimus dorsi. And then inhale your head back up to center, keeping your eyes closed for a moment. Breathe. Because our muscles don't get stretched in our neck, that may have felt like a bit of work. But again, stretched muscles are less prone to injuries. It brings the blood with the oxygen, the nutrients into the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, and the joints. And last exhale, and place your block off to the side. And come on over onto all fours. So again, when we're warming up, so if you're practicing on your own this summer, and I hope you will do a little bit of practice, your hands are directly under your shoulders, your fingers are spread wide apart, your knees are underneath your hips. Cat-cow is still one of the great warm-ups for your length of your spine. So on an exhale, drop your tail, tuck your chin, pull your bellies in. And on an inhale, curl your toes under, hollow out your lower back, lift your tail, lengthen through the upper part, front part of your body, and eyes are rolling up towards third eye or the sky. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin, drop your tail, pull your bellies in. Inhale, curl your toes under, hollow out your lower back. Lift the tail, lengthen through the front of your body without cranking your neck. And exhale, round your spine, pull your bellies in, drop your tail, tuck your chin, feel your abs engage. And last time, curl your toes under, hollow out your lower back, lift your tail, lengthen, lifting your sternum, your heart, and release to neutral. Eyes are looking down at the mat. Inhale, your left arm up, reaching, stretching. Exhale, float and thread the needle with that arm under the other. Release your shoulder and the side of your face onto your mat. And then tippy toe the fingers of the other arm straight out in front. Whether professional dancer or athlete, sports player, golf, doesn't matter, all of them are stretching before they perform. And then draw that arm in and press up, coming back into neutral. Your spine is nice and long. Inhale, sweep the right arm up, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, float that arm down and thread the needle. Reaching as far as you can, twisting, awakening, enlivening your spine. Release your shoulder and the side of your face onto the floor and tippy toe the fingers of the other arm straight out in front. And draw the arm in front, pressing up. And then if your knees are okay, take your knees wide apart, flatten the tops of your feet, big toes touch, and gently press your hips back towards your heels. If you slow down, it's less prone to cramping. If your knees don't like being that bent, then leave your bum up in the air and just come into puppy pose. You can always elevate your forehead if you need to by folding your arms and creating a pillow or stacking your fists. Breathe into your side and back ribs. And inhale to come up, curl the toes under, walk your hands back towards your feet. Another great warm up for your spine is to simply slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, stacking one on top of the next. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. Even if you're sitting in a chair, you can do this roll up. Inhale the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, take your arms behind your back. Squeeze your arms together. So just a couple of little points. Always think about creating an indentation between your shoulders. Now, it's a bit extreme, but for those of us who've spent a lot of time typing forward, think about indenting your shoulders. That does this other thing, which is to lift your sternum. And then, of course, the string through your head. And let it all go. So, best warm up in yoga, of course, is sun salutations. So come on up to... Philip and Liz brought me these beautiful flowers today, by the way. Or Martha, I mean, not Liz, Martha. I'm looking at Liz here. Anyway, okay, so inhale, in place. Exhale, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart, reach your arms up, look up, reach up, and arc back, whatever amount you can. And then inhale, bring your feet back together, lift up out of your waist, fold from your hips, not from your lower back. Tops of your legs, reach forward. Fingertips should be touching the floor. Please let your heads hang. Step your left leg back and drop your knee to the mat. Place your hands on your front right thigh. Focus your gaze for balance. Inhale, lift that back leg off the floor. Straighten the leg, press through your heel. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Try not to be leaning forward here. We want shoulders directly over hips. Definitely strengthening bones and the muscles of the legs, the hips, and the glutes. So it's a high lunge. Turn your hands forward. Be sure you spread your fingers apart. Take that other leg back. Come on into your push-up plank position. Now, if this is too much for your wrists, then you're going to release your knees to the floor and keep whatever amount of pressure on the arms. This, of course, many times this is a core strengthener, shoulder, arms, and wrists. Be sure you're pressing all your fingers into the mat with space underneath the palm. This is the tunnel for your carpal tendons and why we call it carpal tunnel syndrome. But we want to avoid that. Strengthening, pressing all the fingers into the floor. Even the four corners of the hands will engage more of your wrist and forearm muscles. Release your knees, flatten the tops of your feet, leave your hands where they are, and slowly take your hips back towards your heels. Stretching out the shoulders, stretching out the wrists, relaxing these areas now, letting the fresh arterial blood flow in, stretching your spine. And of course, the other great benefit of yoga practice is it's not just for your muscles and your bones. All of your internal organs and glands are also being rejuvenated, revitalized. Now, leaving your hands where they are, lower your forearms and elbows onto the floor, and slowly, staying low, move your torso forward. And when you're able, release your chest and your chin onto the mat. If you struggle with this posture, know that your upper back, your thoracic area, is a little tight, maybe too much time, hunched over a computer or some electronic device, and then slide everything out behind you. Align the edges of your fingertips with the edges of your shoulders. Flatten the tops of your feet, lengthen your legs. Press your hips and pelvis into the floor. Roll an invisible alley with your nose to lengthen your neck. On an inhale, not using your hands, lift your head, neck, shoulder, and chest off the floor, keeping the elbows tucked into your side body. Baby Bhujangasana. Now, clearly you can feel your latissimus dorsi, these large, broad muscles in the middle lower back. Very large muscle covers most of your back. One more breath in, lifting. Exhale, lengthen and lower. Curl your toes under. You can come up onto your knees or just lift your hips up. Walk your feet a few inches forward. Bend your knees. Now press your belly onto your thighs. This is where you really want to pay attention to your hands here, that your entire hands, especially the four corners of your hand, are pressing as much as possible into the mat. This can take some of the weight, pressure out of your wrists and activate more of your arm muscles. And then press your heels towards the floor. Remember, it does not matter if your heels touch the floor. Relax your neck. This should allow your head to hang between your arms. Breathe. Lift your left leg up in the air, look at your left hand, swing that foot as far forward as you can, other hand forward, and please let your heads hang. Relax your neck, give it a swing if you're not sure. Arms beside your ears. Engage your thighs by lifting up on your kneecaps. Pull your belly in towards your spine to protect your lower back. Straight. Coming up, this activates more of the muscles of your core. Feet apart for balance, reach up, look up, and arc back. Inhale, feet come back together, lift up out of your waist. Exhale, fold forward. Fingertips to the floor. Again, let your head hang, swing it, relax it. And then bend your knees, inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up and overhead, hands in prayer. Really press those fingers together as you lower your hands in Anjali Mudra to your heart center. So even this stretching here strengthens the wrists, and release your hands down and give them good shake out. Let's do this one more time, just a little bit quicker. Inhale, exhale, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart, reach up, look up, arc back. Inhale, feet come together, lift up out of your waist. Exhale, stretching, reaching forward, fingertips to the floor. Please let your head hang. Give it a shake. Step your right leg back and drop your knee onto the mat. Place your hands on that front left thigh. Focus your gaze for balancing. And then lift your back knee off the floor. This is your anchor. Press into your back leg. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And breathe. We don't think about our legs and how they move us wherever we want to go, when we want to go. So there's so much to be grateful for and appreciative of. We only recognize it when we hurt, injure, have pain. Then we notice, then we think about it. Turn your hands forward. Bring them down to the floor. Spread your fingers apart. Middle finger points forward. Coming into your push-up or plank position. What if we woke up tomorrow with only what we thanked God for today? Now, it's impossible to thank and recognize everything we are grateful for, but practicing gratitude is a great way to either start the day or end the day. I end my day with this. Release your knees to the floor, flatten the tops of your feet, and then slowly take your hips back towards your heels. Take your time, lengthening, relaxing your wrists, relaxing your shoulders, stretching everything out, and breathe. And then leaving your hands where they are, release your forearms and elbows to the floor. Stay nice and low. When you're able, release your chest and chin. And slide out everything behind you. Release your forehead to the floor, flatten the tops of your feet. Bring your elbows into your side body. Now, for Cobra Pose, which of course is strengthening your arms, your shoulders, and your wrists, and then we'll give them a break. You definitely want your wrists to be underneath your shoulders. So if you line up your fingertips close to the edge of your shoulders, and then maybe when we take this fuller position, if we do, you can stay in baby cobra, of course. Roll an invisible alley with your nose to lengthen your neck. Press your hips and pelvis into the floor. On an inhale, without using your hands, using back muscles to lift head, neck, shoulders, and chest. Elbows stay into your side body. Now, if you're thinking to raise yourself higher up, press the floor away from you. Make sure your elbows don't wing out. Shoulders relax down your back and only come up to the height that feels good for your lower back. Extending the curve right up to the crown of your heads. Eyes can roll up towards Ajna Chakra, the seat of intuition. One more breath in. Exhale, lengthen as you lower. Releasing your forehead to the floor. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips up. Walk your feet a couple of inches forward. Bend your knees. Press your belly onto your thighs. Chest towards knees. Let your neck and head relax. And breathe. Make sure you're pressing all four corners of the palms of your hand into the floor, as well as your baby finger. thumb, and then straighten your legs whatever amount you can. Please relax your neck. Feel the stretch through the calves. Keep pressing your sits bones towards the back wall. Lift your right leg up. Look at your right hand. Swing that leg as far forward as possible. Other leg forward. And just let your upper body hang, especially your neck. Relax it. Arms beside your ears. Pull your bellies in. Engage your thighs. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Feet apart for balance. Reach up, look up, arc back. Inhaling, feet come back together. Lift up out of your waist. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Hands in prayer. Anjali Mudra to your heart center. And relax your arms and take a sip of water if you need. Why don't we work on our abs next and get that over with? So you'll need your block, have that handy. And just take a moment to lie down. Lifting up your shoulders under your heart center, arms beside your body with your palms facing up. And breathe. Take a couple more deep breaths in. And as you exhale, really let your body go. Let it go, let it go. Another deep breath in. And let everything go. Okay. Take your block and bring it over behind your heads. And then you're going to bring your knees up towards your chest, and you're going to bring the block to the knees. And releasing. Now, you don't need to let your feet touch the ground unless you want to. You can keep inhaling and exhale to bring the block to your knees. And extend so feet can stay off the floor. And contract or flex. Inhale to extend. Exhale, bring the block to your knees. One more time, extend and block to knees, and then extend your left leg down in front. Keep your right leg right into your chest. Take your right knee over to the left side. So just stretching out the lower back, stretching out the hips and the glutes. Inhaling, rolling onto your back, keep your right knee bent, draw your left knee up, extend your right leg down in front, inhaling in place. Place your right hand on the outside of your left knee and draw it across your body. And let's just stretch out the other side of the lower back, the hips and the glutes, because we're going to be working those too. And inhaling. Okay, bring your left knee, your right knee up so both knees are bent. And if you're able, rock up to a seated position. If not, roll over onto your side. And Navasana, boat pose. Haven't done this in a while. Right, so place your hands underneath the backs of your knees. Find that sweet spot of balance. That's just where we want to start, and some of us may not even leave this part. Now you want to be engaging your core, so pull your bellies in, activate. See if you can straighten your legs. Keep your shoulders back, your chest lifted, your gaze upwards. So be sure you're engaging your core. It helps protect your lower back. And then release and bend your knees. How about releasing your hands? Great. Nice. And roll back. One hand on each knee. That looked great, everybody. Navasana, boat pose, major core strengthener, and a difficult posture, but we did work on it a lot, perhaps at the beginning of the session. Definitely the last one. Let's place our hands underneath the backs of our knees or rolling over onto your side, and let's come up once again. All righty, so make sure chest is lifted and eyes are lifted, roll back. Release your hands, straighten your legs if you can. And if that's just too much, keep your knees bent. Or straighten and bend. That'll do. Great. All righty. Do a little bit of rocking or creating circles on your back. And placing your hands either behind the backs of your knees or rolling over onto your side. Let's rock up. And we'll stretch out the lower back and the abs. So bring your right knee and leg forward. So we're going to do our sideways prayer posture. Curl the toes under of the back leg. And again, because it's a balanced posture, take your time. You're going to bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee and open your palm. So if you can, your forearm's going to be at right angles to your bent leg. Your back toes are curled under. Look down at the floor. Focus for balance. And then lift your top arm and twist your torso. You may look sideways, but if you feel like you're losing your balance, please look down. Now, you can do this posture with your knee on the floor. You don't have to stand up. You can keep that back knee on the floor, but twisting at your waist. Nice. And then drop your back knee. And let's change to the other side. Remember, there are knee pads. If you didn't get one and you need to put something under your knee, fold your mat and create extra cushioning for the knee if you require that. Other leg comes forward. I'll change sides here. So bring your right elbow to the outside of your knee, open your palm, place the other palm on top, focus your gaze on the floor. You don't have to lift that back knee off the floor to twist your torso, but you can if you wish. So you're pressing through the back heel if your back leg is off the floor. Breathe, focus your gaze. Beautiful stretch for your buttocks. And then release your hands to the floor. Bring that back leg forward. Now, keep your knees soft. We're going to come into chair pose, horseman's pose. You're going to inhale, pretend you're sitting back in a chair. Bring your arms out in front. Now, I ask you that you can see your toes in front of your knees. Ideally, your knees are over your ankles, but truly, if you can see your toes, you're in good shape. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Step your left leg back. Now, your right foot's 90 degrees, your back foot's almost the same 90 degrees. You're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, coming up into a high lunge. Spread your fingers apart, turn your hands forward, and bring that back foot forward. And let's take one more chair pose, Utkatasana. So it's like you're sitting down in a chair. You got to drop your hips a lot. Strengthening the glutes, the quads, your hips. And release your fingertips to the floor. Step your right leg back about 2.5 to 3 feet. You're going to bend the front leg, keep the back leg straight. Inhale, sweeping up into a high lunge. Turn your hands forward, bring them to the floor, bring your back leg forward. Inhale, come halfway up, tabletop. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, hands in prayer. So we're going to do a variation on chair pose. It makes me want to give you a recipe for the Aperol Spritzer, because this is called the drinking bird pose. I'm sure none of you really drink, but you might have somebody over that drinks. Aperol, it's an herb liqueur. You can buy it at 99 bottles on Kingston Road. A little bit of bubbly, a slice of orange, and lots of ice in a big tall glass. It's very refreshing. As I said last week, if the Farmer's Almanac's right, we're going to do a lot of detoxing this summer. Okay, so drinking bird pose. It's similar to chair pose, only you're going to come up onto the balls of your feet. I wanted to show you before we did it. So you're coming up onto the balls of your feet, and your arms are down and hands are open. And you know, if coming up on the balls of your feet is too much, then keep your feet flat. But if you're on the balls of your feet, you're really working your calf muscles. Okay, give your legs a good shake out. Is that fun, drinking bird? Could be your next party trick. Okay. No, it won't be your next party trick. What? No, there was a great joke. What's the first thing somebody sees before they see the nurse? Oh, what's the last thing somebody said before they see a nurse? Hold my beer, watch me do this. I don't drink beer. Okay. Now step your right leg back. Our standing postures, of course, very strengthening for thighs, hips, glute. Again, this is what propels us. So bend your front knee. Look down and see your big toe inside of your knee. Your knee should not go further than your ankle. You should press into the outside of your back foot and press into the outside of your front foot. If these guys aren't engaged, inner thigh adductor muscles, and then lift your sternum. Inhale, sweep the arms front and back. Lower your shoulders, lift your chest, lengthen your neck. Tech guy, bring your, no, stay. Just bring your shoulders a little back, bend your front knee. No, that's your back leg. Yeah, and then bring your shoulders back over your hips. Yeah. Okay, great. So you're fixing your gaze over those front fingertips, lower your shoulders, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Become aware of your inner thigh adductor muscles. You know you're activating your quadricep muscles when your inner thigh is engaged. Lower your back arm down your back leg and reach the other arm straight up. Stretching up, looking up, and reaching up. And windmill your arms back to warrior two. Keep your shoulders low. Your back leg is straight. Your front knee is bent. Your knee is over your ankle. Look down. See your big toe inside of that front knee. Now release your front forearm onto your front thigh. Take your back arm, windmill it around the front of your body, and then bring it over your ear and blossom your chest sideways on your mat. You're reaching your top arm over your head, reaching and stretching, palm faces the floor. Your face should be facing the same way as your belly button. So your belly should be off to the side because you're opening your torso to the side of your mat. You've got a line of energy from the outside of your back foot all along your body, reaching. Now, you're going to straighten your front leg and come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So you're reaching your top arm straight up, energy up, straighten your front leg. Nice. Inhale, sweeping the arms back up. Exhale, lower the arms down and bring your back leg forward and give your legs a good shake out. Okay, other side, step that left leg back at least 3 feet, unless you're under 5 feet tall. That doesn't apply to anybody here. Okay, bend your front knee. You're not under 5 feet, are you? You are? Okay. You go for 2 feet, 11 inches. All right, again, make sure your knee is tracking over your middle, if not your baby toe of that front leg. This is really important. Otherwise, you're collapsing, you lose the integrity, you're not working those muscles. I have to come and slap your thigh. Okay, press into the outside of your back foot. Make sure your front foot is 90 degrees forward, lifting up from your sternum. Inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height. Relax your shoulders, lengthen your neck, fix your gaze. Now, focus on the muscles that are working right now. It should be your thighs, your hips, your glutes. Breathe. So it's not really your toes. They're not really doing anything. You're pressing into the big ball of your foot. Baby toe mount, the heel. Lower your back arm down your back leg and stretch up. Reach up. The energy's up, not down. Keeping your thighs engaged, maintaining the integrity of that knee position, pressing it towards the outside of the mat, the front knee, your back leg straight, pressing into the outside of your back foot. And then windmill your arms back into warrior two. And then bring your front forearm onto your front thigh, front arm, yep. And then take your back arm and sweep it around in front of your body, reaching up and over your ear, palm faces the floor, stretching and lengthening. So feel that stretch. Yep, June, bring your, if you can, but I know you have a sore shoulder, right? So take care, all right. You're stretching and reaching, nice everyone. Feel that stretch through your obliques. We're going to be working them next. And then straighten your front leg. Bring your top arm straight up and over the bottom arm into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So straighten your front leg. Yep, do what you can. You listen to your body. If you're scrunching up your face and making weird faces, then either you're working hard or you can't figure out what you're supposed to be doing, or you're in pain, or all three. Inhale, come back to center. Let's turn sideways on the mat and turn your feet and spread them wide apart. And then hinge from your hips, the tops of your legs. Let's tent our fingertips below our face. So we're just going to release some of the muscles we were just working. So you're going to inhale, sweep the left arm up, reaching up, stretching up, looking up. Feel that nice stretch in your inner thigh that you were working. Exhale, float that arm down. Nice release for your lower back. Inhale, sweep the arm up. Twists are excellent for your spinal column. They're good for a lot of things, but if your spine is tight, twists are the answer. Exhale and float it down. Let's lunge over to the left, whatever amount you can. If you're able to bring your bum close to your heel, fine, but just go to the distance that you're able. Inhale up and over to the other side. This is where your legs should be wide apart. Otherwise, this is kind of a tough posture to get into. Inhaling up, and then keeping your knees bent, walk your feet in towards one another, about 2.5 feet. Your toes should be pointing out and your knees over your ankles, and knees going in the same direction as your toes, coming into goddess pose. And God. So sitting with your bum as low as possible. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, lower your hands. All right, kids, let's come down onto the floor. So, arm muscles. Your deltoids, they're really like mobilizing the ankle or the shoulder joint. You're lifting with your triceps when we lift things, or pardon me, you lift with your biceps. And the triceps stabilize that joint. So actually delts carrying, deltoids carrying, biceps lifting, triceps. And actually at the end of the class, just because some people will watch this on Zoom, somebody remind me, I want to show you something for your triceps on these church pews. Meanwhile, come on down onto the floor. So we have a choice here for Vashisthasana, which is side plank. This really works the core, and the core is important. Your obliques are important. But for those people with wrist issues, you're probably not going to take this position. I just want to remind you, and you're going to do it on your forearms if you have wrist issues. Remember, you've got 3 feet position. This is the toughest one. This is the easier one, and this one makes the whole posture a lot easier. So this is the kickstand. Separate the feet or stack the feet and raise your arm. If your wrists are not wanting to do this, then you're going to do it on your forearm and still get your shoulder working. Now, if you have bad shoulders, do something else, because your shoulders will not be happy. But in order to develop strong shoulders, arms, and core, make sure that your your obliques are working by taking that top arm and bring it under and touch your obliques. Inhale the arm up and touch your obliques. And then come on down. And let's try the other side, because it was so much fun on one side. So, remember, you've got your different foot positions. You're reaching that top arm up and bringing it under and touch your obliques. You'll know where your obliques are. So these are the muscles that wrap around your waist. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, touch your obliques. And come on back down. Good work, everybody. So we're just gonna do one last posture, and it's easy. It's just the bridge pose. But this is a great strengthener for your quads and your butt. So with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, tuck your shoulder blades under your heart center. Tilt your chin towards the center of your chest. Arms are beside your body with your palms facing down. Press the small of your back into the floor and just feel your abdominal muscles engaged, contracting. So you're pulling them down, and then inhale, peel your spine off the floor and lift your hips and bum up in the air. Palms are facing down. If you like, lift one leg off the floor, straight up in the air. This is where you get to check your hips. So right now, if your right leg's up, you're really working your left hip, glute, quads. And then lower it down and lift the other leg up. You can keep both feet on the floor, but you get to check in and see which hip may be a little weaker, and release. And then starting from the top of your spine, slowly bring your body back onto the floor. Draw your knees up in towards your chest. And just either rock from side to side or make little circles. And when you're ready, bring your body into the final posture, Shavasana, flat out and relaxing. Now, I hope that if you wished to have an eye covering, that you got one before, but I'm happy to get one for you if you didn't. Would anyone like one that didn't get one? Just put your hand up if you want one. June, you're good? Hillary? You're good. Okay. Close your eyes. Let your eyeballs sink into their sockets. We are 1 minute into summer. It is 10:59. So the last 10 weeks, I've been briefly discussing yamas and niyamas. The last of the niyamas, Ishvara Pranidhana, which is really the pinnacle of spiritual